Hello. Sorry. Hi, sorry, my screen went all a bit fuzzy then, so I wasn't even sure what was going on, but I think we're live. So hello, welcome to episode 12 of The Dead Within. This is me, Mike Mason from Chaosium, and I'm joined tonight by Lynne Hardy, who's playing
Francis Ball, private detective.
Jema, who's playing
Georgina Sullivan, sculptress.
Becky, who is playing.
Oh, hello, I'm Eleanor Wright, and this is my column.
And last but not least, Jayson, who tonight you will be.
Hopefully the same person as last week. Maxime, Lawrence, Elliot, dilettante.
Considering the way things are likely to go tonight, we might none of us be playing the same person we played last week for a great deal longer.
That's fairly optimistic. I mean, Mike is so optimistic, he's frozen with a great big smile.
Oh, I can't even see him. He's just suffered a blackout for me.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Right, we may have to pause, ladies and gentlemen, and
I
return.
think that's a record.
Welcome to technical difficulties.
Hello. Okay, so the only thing about this, everyone being at home all the time, is that everyone's on the internet, and it makes the internet somewhat shoddy. So we will try and get through it as best we can. But there we are. So we left things at a dangerous moment last session. But what was that dangerous moment? Lynne, why don't you do a recap and tell us?
I will indeed. Well, we have finally met Mr. Palliser. You know, the whole point that the Foreign Office sent us over here was to find David Palliser, have a word with him, and basically see if we could get him to spill the beans on the canal that the Soviets are building. Turns out, actually, he doesn't want to defect. He wants to stay here with his wife. But he is going to steal a whole load of documents that we can photograph and then use to discredit the Soviet regime. I don't think he's entirely thought this plan through, because they're going to know where the information's come from. So, but that's actually not the largest worry that we have at the moment. The largest worry we have at the moment is that we are currently all having agreed to murder Krylov, hiding in his back garden in the middle of the night, waiting to do exactly that. The crystal that terrifying Mr. Gottman gave us led us exactly to where we needed to be. Three of us, myself, Georgina, and Maxime, are lying in wait for the appropriate moment to go all stabby, stabby, shooty, shooty. Meanwhile, though, Eleanor has crept off in an attempt to create a diversion to attract attention away from what we're doing. Let's all hope that actually succeeds. So you join us as we are waiting to go on a murder spree.
What could go wrong?
Everything.
Who knows? So, okay. So we are technically, you know, you're about to enter a combat situation, although you do have the first round surprise, which I'll give you. Well, some of you may do. Right. So I handily worked this out in advance. So we have Georgina, Francis, and Maxime hidden in some bushes around about 100 yards away from Krylov, who seems to be in a trance, performing this kind of ritual song, calling out above this on this promontory overlooking Lake Onega. Meanwhile, we have Eleanor, who's lurking around the rear of Krylov's villa, knowing that there is someone on the other side of the villa who has heard the noise that Eleanor created when she tried to create a distraction by throwing a stone across the road. So, given this, we're going to go on deck's order. So, technically, the first person who gets to do something or not is Georgina, who is the highest dex member of the party. Georgina, are you doing anything?
Well, I can't remember if the plan was for me to shoot him and then them stab him, or them
No,
stab
other way
him
around.
and then me shoot him. Because I'm a bit concerned if they stab him and then I shoot him, I'm just going to shoot one of them. But I think that was the plan. So I'm
Yes,
not going
yes.
to do anything. I'm
Okay,
I
going
would
so you're
try
gonna-
and get a bit closer.
I'm going to load my rifle or whatever it is that one does with rifles very quietly, take the safety off, find a rock to sort of balance it on.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'd like to remind everyone that, like, she has been clay pigeon shooting, but she's hardly what you'd call a marksman.
Well,
Give it
I
close
will
up.
advise you that if you're taking a kind of a stance and you're, getting ready and technically maybe aiming,
Yeah,
you could spend an hour round aiming, which may help you
Oh.
should you need to pull that trigger the following round.
wonderful idea. I think spending some time aiming is probably.
Okay. Right, what happens next is, Eleanor, you hear these boots, just a single pair of boots, crunching through the snow and gravel on the far side of the house, but you're not quite sure whether they are just kind of, a bit of pacing back and forwards, or whether they're, actually, walking around the house. A little difficult to tell at this point, but you do hear that as you've been listening into the sound of someone there. Meanwhile, Maxime, you're next.
Okay. So he is resisting as much urge as possible to just jump out and yell charge and rush towards him. He's keeping focused. He's going to wait until Krylov comes around and past him. So, back turned, as it were, before reaching out, attempting to grab him and thrust, with the sword.
Okay, you are about 100. You're about 100 yards away in your vantage.
100
point,
yards.
So,
Right, I thought it was 100 meters. Even
Well,
as he's coming round.
Same.
Okay.
It's only going to be a a few feet difference in terms of coming round, but certainly you can time it as he's sort of going around. I mean, he doesn't seem to be looking where he's going. He seems to be in his trance-like state, kind of walking around in a kind of an ever-decreasing circle. But if you want to kind of time it so when he's back to you, you can, creep a bit closer, and I don't know whether you want to throw yourself to the ground and then get up again, or you just want to run for him, or I don't know.
It depends how much cover there is, really, which I'm assuming there's not much.
You're kind of at the last good cover there. I mean, there is, obviously you can throw yourself to the ground, and he, if he's in the transport, he won't see you but you never know. But you're kind of in these bushes, and beyond this, it's a fairly kind of flat plain. There's a few little, shrubs and things, but they're not really massive,
Okay. In that case, he's not gonna fully press himself to the ground or anything, because his clothes for starters. But he's gonna keep crouched, whilst moving along, and attempt to get closer if possible.
Okay, so this is a stealthy approach.
As much as possible, but given what happened last time, I doubt it is going to be.
Okay, well, I want you to make a stealth roll. I want to sort of see in case, how you get on with that.
Ooh, I did pass that one.
Well
okay,
done.
well, the adrenaline is starting to pump through you, and your accoutrements are sharpened as you kind of panther-like step out, crouch low, and start to make your way towards Krylov in a slow and steady manner. Meanwhile, Francis, what are you doing?
Similar sort of thing, basically, just trying to close the distance as
again,
quickly as
slowly,
possible without just obviously, trying to keep low and sort of like.
So would you say you're going faster than Maxime or the same?
I'm going to try and go faster than him because I don't trust him to wait and not have a stab. And I'm
Okay,
still
so
not convinced he's actually mentally prepared to do this.
okay, so you let's definitely have a stealth roll as well, as you are, pacing it quicker. You
Okey-dokey.
realize, Maxime is going to
This
get there
isn't going to
before
be
you
good,
see
and
you.
I don't have a lot of luck. So come on, babies, be good. Be good, dice. Just don't fumble. Oh, it wasn't a fumble. It wasn't a success, but it definitely wasn't a fumble. So we're all right.
Okay. As you move towards, you realize you need to kind of pick up pace, and you kind of trying to not run but be quick about it. And in that kind of palaver, you kind of stumble a bit. You don't fall over, but you do stumble a little bit. You kind of make a little bit of sound, and you kind of just freeze, looking at Krylov to see whether he notices you. As you just freeze in place. Meanwhile, Eleanor, what are you doing?
So where's Krylov's car, by the way?
Well, you've not seen it, but you haven't really been round the front of the villa, so
Okay.
Could
So
be,
as
could
I
be
see
round the
it, there's
front
kind of Krylov and the promontory over here,
behind
me,
you.
villa, person.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there so I'm at the back of the villa then. Is there a back door?
You noticed no, there are a couple of windows, but on the side where you went halfway round to throw this stone, you did notice there was a kind of a side comeback door in the side of the building on the left-hand side of the building where you're facing.
Okay, but that's the side I threw the stone. So I'll move up to the right-hand side of the building, but I'm not going to move like I'm hiding. I'm obviously going to try and move quietly, but I don't want to move like I'm hiding, because if he sees me first, I'm just going to talk to him. So I don't want it to look like I'm sneaking if he does.
So you're walking carefully, because I mean it is crunchy snow and that kind of thing, but you're just sort of moving slowly but carefully rather than sneaking, as you say. Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you move towards the right-hand side of the villa. Okay. The moon, it's a clear night, is shining down, giving the area this kind of silvery glow, and
I do like a nice silver moon.
Well, it's certainly casting the kind of shades of this silvery grey all over the scene, casting kind of it's not quite shadows, but you get that kind of atmosphere, and the dark lake beyond. You can just sort of make out beyond the promontory this kind of the stillness of this kind of black water that's expansive. It just goes on and on in terms of the line of sight, but the whole, whilst you're all being really quiet and you're trying to be really stealthy and quiet, this kind of keening, kind of high-pitched tone seems to be coming from Krylov. It kind of this kind of strange song kind of wafts through the air, carried over the water into the above the lake. And then, Georgina, what are you doing?
Well, they're still creeping, aren't they? I'm going to aim some more. I'm aiming so hard I've broken Mike again. Oh no!
Oh, no. It's all that.
At least I can
silvery
see him this
moonlight.
time.
Yes. All right. I think we need to have a little pause at that moment of excitement, and we shall return in a couple of moments.
Okay, right, here we go. So, Georgina, you are, continuing to aim. Maxime, you're still stealthily walking ahead. You are kind of at the point where you can continue stealthily walking this round, and next round you will be more or less near enough to strike. Or, the thought just crossed you, if you do a bit of a sprint now with a good dex roll, you could get on him this turn.
Dex. That skill that Maxime is not so good at. I mean, it's not terrible. He's above average, but compared
mine
to
is. So if you go in now, you will be going in without backup.
but I think he would, because he's been thinking during this slow advance about what his friend Ed would say if he was here, and he's been mulling over Ed's death and how if he'd stepped in, Ed possibly might not have done it, and he's been putting things off. So he almost kind of quietly but aloud says, yes, I need to do it. I need to put this off. And yeah, he just start advancing quicker.
Because as that kind of thought comes into your head and your body starts to go, you realize, I don't know, where is the kind of artifact that Gottman gave you? Is that in your pocket, in your other hand?
It's a light. It's a light, so it would be.
You see that it's really starting to glow quite brightly. You can see it coming through the the stitching on the jacket and whatnot. You see it glowing, and the noise seems to change as you start to run. You realize because you're looking, focus is all on Krylov as you realize he's kind of stopped in the center, and you can see that he's stood in some middle of some sort of symbol. He's drawn in chalk on this kind of stone promontory where he's kind of cleaned the snow off. You can see some sort of chalk kind of outline of something. Can't quite sure what it is, but you realize he's stopped and is looking directly over the lake, and you realize this sound is different. It seems to have, it's like another sound has melded with it and then overtaken it, and you can hear this strange kind of deep kind of keening sound, and you realize it's reverberating in your head. So maybe you're not even hearing it, maybe it's just in your head, but it's kind of growing, and you feel like you're starting to feel like as if you're underwater, as if you're in the lake, but this is all kind of rushing through your mind. Obviously the rest of you are feeling this as well, but Maxime, you feel this as you run towards Krylov, making a dex roll as you go.
Okay, I've got some luck left. Oh yes, in fact I'm gonna spend 5 luck to make that an extreme.
Okay, with an extreme success, I'm going to say, I mean, I presume you're kind of charging him with the fencing foil. Is that the kind of idea?
Yeah, as much as possible.
Yeah, so with an extreme success, I'm going to say you get you can make an attack roll this round. Fantastic. You cover the distance really quickly, and as you cover in the last few feet, you strike forward with your fencing cane.
Yep, and that's a pass on the attack roll as well.
Okay, so could you roll me damage, please?
Yes. Oh, damage bonus and build. So 9, that's 10.
10 damage?
Mm-hmm.
Crikey. Okay.
I rolled on my damage apparently.
Krylov cries out in agony. However, this sound in your head, this keening kind of song, continues building, but he kind of falls, it falls to the ground kind of thing off the fencing pole, shouting out, Pamaji, which is apparently Russian for help, shouting quite loudly as he kind of collapses to the ground. At which point he kind of turns to see Maxime. Maxime, could you give me a power roll, please?
I wondered when that would come into equation. Roll. Oof. Again, I'm going to spend 2 luck just to make it a regular pass. Wow.
I wouldn't bother spending the luck, Maxime.
No. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're not winning the roll on what I just rolled.
Okay. No worries.
So you do hear this voice in your head, and it kind of seems to drown out this sort of sound, and the voice in your head is basically saying, you know, turn around and attack that, you know, attack the person behind you. Basically, you feel like, you know, you feel this sudden sense that you know Francis is coming up behind you, but you realize now the plan all along is he's going to kill you. You're the target, not Krylov.
Oh, okay.
As you turn, you know, with this madness in your eye, Francis, you see what's just happened. You see Maxime turn around to look at you. What do you do?
I've got no dex whatsoever, but we're going to have to go for it. I am going to barrel past him and just attempt to stabby. I don't have time to deal with Krylov.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not going to stab Maxime.
Well, no, I'm just clarifying that you're not.
I was
really
considering if you might. I wouldn't be offended if you did at this point.
Okay, so what's going to happen here? Francis is going to make a dex roll, and whatever the outcome of that dex roll is, Maxime is going to get a surprise attack on Francis because he doesn't know it's coming.
Unfortunately, Francis did not make the dex roll because Francis is built for comfort, not for speed, as my great aunt always used to say.
Okay, was it just a straight failure?
It's just a straight fail, yeah.
Okay, so what we say, you know, you launch forward. It is snowy. There is ice on the ground. You slip on some ice, pelting yourself forward, probably faster than you're intending to go, as you kind of barrel into the floor towards Maxime and Krylov. Maxime, Francis is leaping at you as if to kill you. So you therefore strike.
Yep, with the sword already covered in blood from Krylov. Oh, what a great time to get a 96. I missed completely.
Francis, you kind of, it's all a blur to you, so you're not quite sure what's just happened, but you seem to think Maxime seemed to look like he was taking a swing at you as you went by, but clearly not, because he didn't hit you. But anyway, you kind of land in a heap not far away from Krylov. Meanwhile, Georgina, you've been holding your shot for some time. Krylov has gone down. You've got a named shot if you want to take it, because you've been
I shall take it. The first blow has been struck.
Okay.
And yeah.
You're within base range for the rifle, so your aim counts as a bonus die to your rifle skill roll.
Okay, which is fairly pathetic, but we shall give it a whirl. All right. Oh, hello. Can I spend a point of luck, please?
Yeah.
And then then it's a just about hit him.
In the commotion, this rifle shot cracks out as this bullet slams into the fallen form of Krylov. I think your rifle does something like 2d6 plus 3, 2, 1.
I don't think I don't actually have it written down.
Oh, fine. Okay, it's in that case, then it's 2d6 plus 2.
2d6, right. Okay, let's have a look at that. Yes. 6.
Okay, it slams home. You see Krylov's body kind of shudder as the bullet rams home. Meanwhile, Eleanor, you're at the right hand side of the property. You can hear these footsteps now running around the side of the house. Give me a look roll.
02.
Okay, they seem to be running around the left hand side while you're on the right hand side.
Blast.
Oh, unless you wanted it to be that. I mean, looks in your favor. So
yeah, okay. I would, because there's not much I can do to contribute to this other than delay this guy. So yeah, so if he comes around the same side.
Okay, so he comes around the right hand side. Yeah.
Quickly, Krylov's been killed. There's 20 soldiers on the promontory.
Okay. Can I have a fast talk roll, please?
Okay. Oh, yes, pass.
Oh, I've failed my psychology, so he's kind of like a bit. What? You startle him, and it at least holds him up for a moment. He is this kind of he's that tall guy, kind of mean-looking chap you saw with Krylov earlier. He's pulling a revolver out of his sort of jacket at this point, but you know there's at least a few seconds of confusion as you confuse him. And he stands there looking at you, not quite sure what to do. But meanwhile, okay, so moving my papers on. Okay. Right. Georgina, obviously, I presume you're staying where you are.
I am, and reloading for another pop.
Okay.
Because what could possibly go wrong?
Maxime, you come to your senses. You're not quite sure what just happened. You think maybe you felt like you were trying to kill Francis, but that's crazy. You weren't doing that at all. No, that surely isn't what I was doing. But you kind of look around. You see Krylov on the floor. You see Francis near to Krylov on the floor. You're not quite sure whether Francis is dead or injured or just fallen over. What do you want to do?
If Maxime senses a bit of movement from Krylov, then Krylov he'll go full first to finish him off.
You see, well, as you look down, you see sort of Francis sort of starting to pull himself up. And before your eyes, Krylov vanishes.
Okay.
Maxime screams, "No!"
Can I have a sanity roll, please, Maxime?
He's so tricksy.
No, just fail both of you.
Okay, just 1 point, which is enough to make you scream. Francis, what are you doing?
Well, I was getting ready to get up and stabby, just to make sure.
So where you get up, you get up, you turn around, and Krylov is not there. Maxime is screaming at the top of his lungs.
Be quiet, man.
And
we've got to go now.
As you say that, Krylov materializes back where he was. He's not quite in the same position, but as you look upon him, as he kind of like lies on his back, and you see his injuries, he looks uncannily familiar to the man who attacked you out of nowhere in Leningrad all those days ago.
Told you. Okay, just.
But Francis, can I have a sanity roll now you realise that, please?
Francis knew this was coming. Oh, but Francis makes that sanity roll with plenty to spare.
Okay, no loss. You knew it was coming. You were expecting this, and but
how can I stab him?
You can stab. He seemed quite still, but you can stab him if you wish. Okay. You don't need to make any roll. He isn't defending or moving away. You can murder him in cold blood at this point.
I'm quite
his
happy
head
to
and
do
stuff
that
in
because
the
I know
garlic.
what he's just attempted to do to me back in Leningrad a couple of weeks ago.
Indeed.
I do believe the best way to deal with this is to behead someone, actually, and I do have a big hunting knife.
Okay, so you do that. Okay, Maxime, you start screaming again as Francis just starts hacking at this guy's head, and it's very messy. The white crisp snow all around is now splattered red, and this strange kind of song in your head is still reverberating. The pressure, in fact, is growing. You feel like, you know, you're underwater. However, Eleanor, there's a rifle shot and screaming, and this guy just looks at you and just runs. Well, you see he's going to run straight by you as you don't appear
I
to
tried
be,
to stop him. It's the army. There's some kind of coup, I say in Russian.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
You're going to need to make a hard fast talk roll for him to take any notice at this point. He's just going to go straight past you unless you physically restrain him. Unless
There's no amount of luck that could change that. The fate of those dice, I'm afraid.
He's on automatic pilot, kind of just barrels through you, and probably Georgina is the one who sees this because you're observing the scene more than anyone else. You see this tall, kind of mean-looking Russian dude with a revolver runs from the side of the villa toward, you know, everyone else. And technically, it's the start of a new round, and you go first. So, what do you want to do?
If he's coming close enough past me, because I'm I'm crouched down with the rifle, I'm reasonably sheltered. If he comes close enough past me that I could have a go at tripping him up, or sort of.
Oh no, you're not. You're
okay. I'm far away.
House is over there. You're still here, kind of thing. So you can take a shot. It's in range, but it's a shot if you want to take it.
I'll have a go because he's not close enough to anyone else for me to accidentally hit him.
That could never happen if you rolled okay. So why don't you make a rifle skill? No aiming this time, I'm afraid. So it's a straight roll.
No aiming. Okay, straight roll. No.
Okay.
No, it's not a fumble, but it certainly doesn't hit.
Okay, shot rings out. He looks over. He kind of hears a shot. He looks his momentary glance towards you. He sees obviously the scene in front of him, which is basically Francis, just about severing the head of the man he's supposed to be guarding. He pulls. He's got his gun already out. He shoots a little bit wild, but he shoots at Francis because clearly, this doesn't look good from his point of view. Francis, I'm going to allow you to make a either a listen or a spot hidden roll to realize he is about.
My listen is rubbish.
Just realize you're about to be shot and they allow you to do one thing to get out of the way.
That would be an extreme spot hidden.
Okay, at the corner of the eye, you see this guy with a revolver running towards you, pointing the revolver, about to shoot. Do you dive for cover or do anything else?
I'm diving for cover.
Okay, can I have a dex roll then, please?
Probably not.
Oh, it's a dodge roll. Sorry, dodge roll, even worse.
Oh, dodge roll. Oh, well, actually, I made my dex roll as well. And I didn't make my dodge roll though. I missed it by 3, so I will spend my 3 points of luck to get that.
Okay, so you give him a penalty die on his roll now because you've trying to get out of the way. He fires the first of 2 bullets. And the first bullet misses, and the second bullet. Oh, I've got to check. It's close. It's close. Where are we? Okay, here we are. It just makes it. Just makes it, and and you feel this whack as 5 points of damage from this bullet that. Fairly close range as it throws you, the momentum throws you to the ground as you diving for cover, just kind of, goes through. And it hurts quite a lot as well, funnily enough. Maxime, what are you doing? I'm
assuming Maxime is kind of stopped screaming now. He's able to.
Yeah. yeah, there's a man shooting a rifle, a revolver. You quickly come to your senses.
Yeah. How far away is he now?
Within 10 feet.
Within 10 feet. Okay. In that case, Maxime will take his sword stick and launch himself at this other guy. Get him away from Francis.
Okay. Go for it. I'm gonna okay, just gonna see. Yeah, okay, he's gonna see that.
Oh yes, that is very extreme. Not critical, but extreme.
He's kind of, ready for anything, but not quite ready for you and your sword stick. So you score a hit and you do damage.
If it's extreme, isn't that maximum damage plus whatever he rolls?
It's an impaling weapon.
So maximum damage, okay. In that case, that'd be 11.
11 plus a die roll.
Oh, plus a die roll.
And don't forget to add your damage bonus.
Just once, though.
Okay, so for the maximum damage, is that with the damage bonus as well?
You do 11 damage.
Yeah.
Does that include your damage bonus? Okay, yes. So 11 plus whatever that die roll is.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so 11, 16, 18, 19.
19. Okay, you kill him outright. Do you want to tell me what actually happens?
Sure. So after kind of getting a hoarseness developing in his throat, but the noise in his head finally starting to calm down, Maxime hears his own breath, kind of panting. He sees Francis half keeled over somehow, kind of puts two and two together that this guy coming towards us must have shot him. So he rushes at this guy, and almost in a kind of a holding the sword stick more like this rather than out front in a nice sort of pirouette motion. He actually jumps up and lands down this guy with a sword stick, so kind of skewering him into the ground.
Yes. Ouch, as you say. Francis, you have, in your dive for cover, you probably didn't think to let go of Krylov's head, which came with you and finally detached from the body. Eleanor, I presume you kind of followed this guy back towards the group, did you, or you go?
No, there's nothing I can do when it gets to shooting things. So I'll actually take the opportunity to hurry myself into the villa and see if I can find the notebook and/or car keys.
Okay, so you're at the front of the house, more or less. You go straight through. Now, as you go through the front door, you obviously can see the front of the house now. You can see the black Citroen car out the front, and down the road about, 400 meters down the road, what looks to be, let's not beat about the bush. It's a guard hut, and you can see there is commotion as guards are starting to file out of this. They've heard a few shots perhaps and some screaming, and they are, they're not running out like this, but they are about, you can see them coming out, looking around, and one of them in any second is going to have the bright idea to run towards the villa. However, you're already there. You duck inside. Right. Okay. So there's from obviously looking at the villa from outside, you realize it seems to be just a single, ground floor villa. There's no upper floor or anything. You're in a kind of a hallway. There's two doors either side of you on the left and right, 2 doors on the left, 2 doors on the right, or you can go further down the hallway.
So there's no kind of table, coat rack or key rack or anything like that in this room?
There is a coat rack, but it's got a large kind of overcoat on it, but that's about it.
Okay, so I'll grab that and feel it for keys as I move towards the furthest door on the left.
Okay, I'm going with your left, so I'm looking at this one. Okay, the furthest door on the left. Okay, as you feeling through the coat, there doesn't seem to be a notebook in there, or really anything in there at all. You go for the door on your left towards the rear of the property, and you come into what looks to be like this. Maybe it's like a lounge room. You can see that there's the window that you pass at the back, and inside the room you can see there's a telescope set up to look out the window onto the lake from what it looks like, and so I'm just finding my note. Okay. So yes. You can see this telescope, but there doesn't seem to be much else in this room other than some, comfy chairs and sort of sofas, coffee table, that kind of thing. There doesn't seem to be any personal effects on the table or on the chairs.
Okay, wrong room then.
Meanwhile, outside, what are the three of you doing now?
Well,
back up off the floor, recovering from having launched myself on somebody else and killing them.
You notice that Francis is bleeding.
Francis is going to attempt a first aid roll.
Okay.
Francis's first aid is crap, but
okay, I'm going to run over to the boys and kind of suggest that we start moving.
Did you fail the first aid?
I did fail the first aid roll.
Okay. So you're still bleeding a little bit, but you're not feeling too good. But with a bit of help, they can, pick you up. And are you heading back?
A hefty guy.
Back, yes, that's heading back to the boat, I guess. Obviously, Eleanor's disappeared.
Yeah, wherever it was that Eleanor, because we came past the house, didn't we, to get to where we are now?
No. You've all the time been at the rear of the house. You've not gone anywhere near it.
Okay, then yes, let's start working. Let's pick up Francis and start limping our way back to the boat.
Okay.
I kind of put an arm over my shoulder and the other one over Maxime's.
Maxime will hesitate just for a second. He suddenly remembers about the notebook and thinks, I better just check Krylov just in case he's carrying it, because if we don't take it, so he's going to just say, just one moment, and he.
Okay, so you start searching the bodies. What are you leaving the head there? Taking it with you?
I'm half tempted to lob it into the lake.
He's a magician. You can't leave it there.
Okay,
He'll reattach it.
It'd be a good present for Gottman.
Take the head.
Yes, you've got to prove to Gottman. He'll be very happy to have a head, I'm sure.
So you've got the head in one hand, Georgina, have you, or Francis, or?
I'm still holding it.
Okay, so Francis has got the head. Seems reluctant to let it go. Meanwhile,
Francis,
Eleanor,
you can present it to him.
While Maxime searches the body, Eleanor, where do you want to go?
I'll try the door opposite this one.
Okay. It looks to be a study. There's books, lots of Russian books, a comfy chair, ashtray, some cigarettes, a few bottles of vodka, some glasses. Again, a very cursory look. Can't see the notebook. What do you want to do?
No notebook, no keys, no?
Can't see them.
Well, has it got like a bureau or writing desk?
Yeah.
What's
it's
immediately
open.
on that?
So it's open. Can't see. It's just some writing paper, some ink, pens. Nothing. As I say, you look around. Unless you want to spend time doing a full search. Nothing is lying on the surfaces. No keys on the surfaces here.
No keys, no notebook. Okay, I will go to the one of the front doors then. The one that would now be on my left, which would have been on my right as I approached, because there should be a back door there.
So you're heading towards the side door.
It would have been as I came in, it would have been the first door on the right, and that one should have the door because it's not in this room.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. You can hear these soldiers. They're not outside, but you can hear them, starting to approach the house. You can hear them shouting at each other, going, in Russian, something's going on. Come on, that kind of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
You run into this other room. This looks to be a dining room, sort of wooden table, chairs, kind of like a Welsh dresser kind of thing with plates and things, cutlery. Again, it's very bare. Doesn't really look very used, or certainly not recently. Nothing lying out on the side or on the table.
Okay, I'll just go straight out the door then and head back toward the boat because I haven't got time to search the other room.
Okay, it's just this one other room as you come out opposite you.
It's going to be the bedroom, isn't it? But there isn't time, so.
Okay, as you come out the door, do you want to take a sneak peek out the door before you
I'll
run?
have a little look first.
Okay, you see the soldiers. They're about, you'd say, 150 feet away, roughly.
So what's that? 30 meters.
There's a window in. There's a window in the room you haven't been in.
Yeah, I'll go for
How
that
much you
one.
want to risk it?
I'll go for that one.
Okay, as you go in. Okay, as you go into the other room, Maxime, you realise that Krylov does not have the notebook on his person.
No sign. It's not here. Where is Eleanor?
I think she went to the house. But there
Right.
hasn't been a to-do over there, so I presume she's okay. I think we should get back to the boat. I don't think we can do any good by loitering here.
Yes, we need to stop the bleeding. We need Oleg to help.
Okay.
Okay, so you now join the other pair. Maxime has started to help Francis down towards the water.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
it's a bit of a climb up, so you having to it's going to take a little bit of time to get down there safely. So, okay. Meanwhile, Eleanor, you run into, yes, it's a bedroom, and there are black shoes, suit, dress shirt, all hanging up. You see a bedside table. There are sticks of white and yellow chalk, kind of loose. There looks to be some sort of like party membership card and a black notebook.
Okay, I'll grab the notebook. Are the car keys in here by chance?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll grab the notebook.
I'm gonna give you an idea roll though.
Oh, I suspect it's on the driver, not on what's his name. I rolled exactly, actually, my idea.
Okay, you're in two minds. It could be on the driver, or it might be one of them strange military cars that doesn't need keys.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll have a little peek out the window.
Okay,
so
out the front window, you can see the soldiers are about 10 feet away from the house. They're about any second they're going to be at the door. You've got a choice to try and dart through the house, the rear door, or climb through the window, perhaps smash through the window to get out quickly and make a dash for it. I don't know.
Now I'm going to go out the window as they
bed.
come. I'm going to go out the window as they come in the front door.
Okay, so is this a open the window quietly and try and climb out, or just smash through and jump out?
I'll try to open it.
Okay, give me a luck roll on that one. This is just a case of if it's locked or not. I don't know.
Okay, so it's one of those windows that doesn't open.
Okay, it does open. It's just that it's stiff, it's frozen, it's kind of thing. You can force it. It will take a bit of time, or you can brute force it.
I'll throw the bedside table through it as they come through the front door.
Okay, you throw that, and then I presume you're leaping through it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Which is what you do. I think we need to make a roll for that. I think you're fine about throwing things through windows. Okay, you dive through and then sprint towards the rear of the house.
To the car.
To the car. Oh, Okay,
Just
genius.
determine what
Okay,
he's got.
so there's a lot of commotion in the house. There's smashing glass. You hear all this in the distance, guys, but they're smashing glass. Soldiers going in here. As you kind of do this double back on yourself, run to the citron. It's open. You jump in, I guess, and realize it's got a start button, luckily. And
press that and hope.
You press that, and you realize that there's only one way with this road. It's back down the road past the guardhouse. That's the road. There is no other road unless you want to do some crazy cross-country thing.
Well, I could put the car in the lake and get close to the boat, or I can drive up the road, but I think I'll go up the road.
Okay, so you're just going to floor it down the road, or?
Oh, you say floor it. I am a Londoner. This isn't something I'm particularly used to.
Okay. So you drive off down there. I am going to ask for a drive roll given the circumstances. Go for it.
I'll spend 13 luck.
Ooh.
Okay. As you a bit shaky with the wheel, you catch a bit of ice on the road. You start to skid. You correct yourself. It doesn't help. There's at least 4 guardsmen with rifles shooting at you in the car as you head down as bullets start to go through the glass. As you drive on down past the guardhouse, past a kind of bewildered-looking guard who's only just got up. It's a bit late to the party. Kind of does a double take as you go by, and you're off down the road into the darkness. Meanwhile, the rest of you, I think it's Maxime. Have you got the lowest look out of all 3 of you there?
I've got 11 luck, so presumably yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I'd say you have.
Now.
Okay, so with the distraction, the incredible distraction that Eleanor has now provided you with these guards, there's a good chance that they aren't, looking for you in that sense, that whoever has killed Krylov, that they obviously could quickly find out that there's 2 dead bodies around the back, 1 headless, has just jumped in the car and driven off. So, but that depends on the luck roll. So, Jayson, do you want to make a luck roll?
No, I don't, but I know I haven't got a choice.
It's
Oh,
going to be
I can with my webcam to prove it, but I have got bang on 11.
Yay! The dice know.
Awesome. Unbelievably, you're all, you can hear these soldiers, shouting a lot, a bit of panicking going around. And at any minute, you're just waiting for some Russian voice to say, well, stop there, as they're pointing a rifle at you. And it doesn't happen. The sounds recede into the distance. Eleanor has completely, taken a lot of their attention. And as you kind of slowly make your way down to the shoreline, where in the darkness, Oleg is waiting in the boat, who upon seeing Francis, it's darker down here, but seeing Francis helps you get in the boat, and then immediately has a look at the looks at the bullet hole, and he's going to make I'm a clever Russian first aid guy roll on you, and he basically seems to know what he's doing. He binds up the wound a bit. It still hurts like hell, but he says something about the bullet has passed through, and he says it's the best he can do in the circumstances, which is basically he's got to, you're okay. You're not going to lose any more blood, but you ain't getting any points back either. It wasn't that good a roll. So just enough to make sure you're not dying kind of roll. And you're in the boat. Eleanor obviously is not here, and you don't know that she has driven off in Krylov's Citron down the road. I will allow a hard listen roll to hear a car screeching off in the distance, but that's as much as you're going to get, I'm afraid.
No, I'm far too preoccupied.
No, I got a pass, but not a hard pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maxime's too busy looking for a box to put the head in.
Yeah. I'm not spending most of my remaining
I
life that
imagine
long.
Oleg's got some Hessian. He's bound to have a bit of Hessian sacking on the boat somewhere. So you could either do that, unless you want to maybe put it in your jacket or something.
Put a head in my jacket.
No, I
You know,
I
you
think we
wrap
definitely
your jacket around it. You know.
Sack is
Hessian sacking.
fine.
No.
I just knew you'd be highly offended by that. So
This is disgusting. No.
So you're in the boat. Obviously, you've not cast off. Oleg is, turning to Francis. Has more or less done that now. You've been there, 5-10 minutes. Kind of, things are quieting down. There doesn't appear to be any soldiers chasing you, which is fortunate. However, Eleanor is not here. So what do you want to do?
We've been here for ages. She's not coming.
Should we go back and look for her?
That would be a very bad idea. I don't really want to leave her, but
Maxime, as you going back, this artifact, it was glowing quite brightly before, when this ritual was happening. It's like now things have quieted down again a bit, and it's like that sound. In fact, Georgina, you can hear this from Francis. Kind of right. This sound is still in your head. So it kind of went away a minute for a moment. It seems it's like coming back and building again, and your stone is glowing white, hot. You can't feel the heat, but it's like it's glowing white hot.
That's probably not a good sign, is it?
No.
we need to get.
We need to leave.
We need to get to Anna. We need to get to Anna. We need to get to that thing. We need to do this ritual.
We'll have to rescue Eleanor later.
Yes.
I mean, if she's been caught, at least Palliser will know. Surely, if she's been caught, we should be able to find out from him, and then we'll.
Yes, exactly. We can even get Weston and his lot to come and get her out if needs be. Yes.
So Oleg says we go.
Yes, we go.
I think we have to.
He starts to cast the boat out, and you start to to move away from the shoreline. As you kind of look back, you look back, sort of check there's no soldiers pointing guns at you, that kind of thing. It's pretty quiet. You can see some movement up on the promontory, but it's quite far away from where you are. And certainly no one seems to be, pointing down at you or anything like that. So it seems okay. And so as you kind of breathe a sigh of relief for a second, as you kind of think about, where Eleanor could be, and your eyes sort of cast back onto the water where you're headed, when you see that where the light of the stars and the moon hits the water, the kind of got this sort of lighter surface color. It's when you see something dark under the water. It's like, is it at first you think it's kind of just where the light is, the shadow of the light is kind of hitting the water or the ripples, but you realize it's almost like it's like a big fish, or imagine like a whale under the water. You see that sort of darker shape under the water, kind of.
Ooh, that doesn't sound nice.
Seems to be kind of. It's certainly bigger, from this distance. You'd say it's bigger than the boat you're on, and then it seems to kind of, whatever's under the water seems to move swiftly or something, and as the water seems to contract and sends these kind of wave-like ripples, spreading outwards towards you, and you realize it seems to be headed in the direction of the promontory, where you just were. And as you realize this pressure you've been feeling just completely becomes unbearable. It's like somebody's holding you down under the water, but like in the deepest ocean. The pressure, you feel your ears almost about to pop, and it's like you're trying to gasp for breath. It seems like the air there's no air. It's kind of pressure all around you. and you realize you can't hear anything. You can't hear anything. The noise is gone. You can't, you see each other kind of mouthing words to one another, but you can't hear a word that anyone is saying. It's all crazy for this second. And then suddenly the water erupts. It's about, 200 yards away from you. The water erupts. The boat starts to wobble in the water as you see something rising out of the water. This kind of black kind of form seems to shoot towards the promontory, towards the cliff face. And as it shoots, you see it seems to rain this kind of liquid or parts of itself all across the lake, and parts of it hit you. And you kind of wipe your face and realize it's blood, and you seem to be covered in whatever it is, it's blood falling down as this thing seems to latch onto the side of the cliff, pulling itself out of the water, but seems to be kind of transforming as it does so, and it becomes this kind of humanoid, almost like this kind of humanoid type shape, kind of crawling up the side of this cliff towards the promontory. And it's just like deafening, and it seems it's like it's reconforming itself into like a human or something like that. It's moving up closer up the promontory as you all make a sanity roll.
No.
No.
Yes.
Okay, I will deal with that in just a second. It kind of goes out of sight for a second, and then as quickly as it was there, it seems to roll back down the cliff face. But this time in the moonlight, you see it's holding Krylov's body. You hear some screams and shouts of soldiers that are cut short. And as it seems to come back with Krylov's, headless body, you see it kind of roll down the cliff into the water. And as it drops into the water, you see it loses its human-like shape and just becomes this formless kind of black liquid that shoots into the water, carrying Krylov's body with it. Okay, at that point, you all scream, and Georgina, you lose 4 sanity points.
Uh-oh, that was with a success.
Yeah.
Francis,
We're screwed.
Yeah.
Francis, you
Battle of
lose
madness coming up.
6 points, Francis. And
Hey!
Maxime, unbelievable, 6 points.
Why do you say unbelievable? That's bad.
Because you both, that was a really low roll on the dice I just rolled twice.
Oh God, was it a D20?
Yeah. I was thinking.
It might have been something like that.
Wow, okay.
You both potentially have gone temporarily insane with a 6-point loss.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So can I have a intelligence roll?
Joy.
Yep.
And ideally, you want to fail. You want to fail this
Fail.
roll to
Nice. Please roll
avoid
badly.
temporary insanity.
Yes, I failed it. I'm too badly hurt to realise what's going on.
If only I could spend 4 points of luck to fail it.
Oh dear!
I just
no.
This night just doesn't get any better, Maxime. You not only did you murder the wizard, which you feel you had the right to do. You felt that you had to do that. You're not quite sure, but the whole hacking of the head was a bit unnerving. This thing you've seen in the water grabbing what's left of the headless body. What happens if it wants its head as well? You've got the head on the boat. Ah! You scream and just start laughing and screaming simultaneously as the horror and the comedy and the just bizarreness of the situation hits you fully. And at that point, I think we all need a tea break.
I think we do.
Join us.
Damn you, Cambridge study.
Join us again in 10 minutes or so for the next exciting installment. But yes, I think we all need a cup of tea to steady the nerves.
Yay!
And we're back. Okay. So, Maxime, you just
Hi.
had an encounter, and you are having a bout of madness, and you have gone temporarily insane. The good news is I'm going to give you, is it 1d10 or d10? I can't remember now. Just looked
I believe
at it,
it's 1d10.
It's
it's what I think you're looking at.
No. 5% Cthulhu Mythos is what I was looking at.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, you lucky man.
So you get 5% Cthulhu Mythos. You have a bout of madness, and you have an underlying madness that's going to last for 3 hours.
Oh.
Which does mean if you lose a single point of sanity in the next 3 hours, you have another bout of madness. So I've already kind of said what the bout of madness is. You are screaming, which goes on, which is in real terms for about 5 minutes. No one can stop you screaming and giggling, but mainly screaming as you kind of point towards the water. It's in there. It's beneath us. Kind of thing going on, it is at this point that you need to make a second sanity roll, I'm afraid, because of the whole thing. You probably would want to make this roll.
I don't by a long shot.
Okay. Francis, obviously, you're a little bit incapacitated at this point, but you're still conscious and can move around a little. Georgina, a bit more able. Oleg obviously is steering the boat, so he's a little bit incapacitated in terms of him being able to do anything, just to forewarn you. Because Maxime is on about, we have to, I've got to take the head to it. It will keep coming unless we give it the head. And he's grabbing at this Hessian sack he's put the head at, and looks to like, you're not quite sure whether he's going to throw the sack in or throw himself in the sack in just to make sure.
He seems hysterical to me, so I'm going to slap him, because that's what you do for people who have hysteria.
Okay. I think you get an automatic hit. But,
just an open hand slap.
An open hand slap, not a punch, as it were. Okay.
No. Just a a sort of,
for heaven's sake.
Yeah, having hysterics, smack.
Okay, so you give it a good smack. Can I have a luck roll, Georgina?
You can.
Come on, please.
Come on. Oh yes, indeed. 11. Very nice. Good
11.
Success there. Yeah.
Okay, so if the choice was Maxime, the slap causing Maxime to let go of the head, does the head drop into the water or into the boat? It's your choice because you made the luck roll.
The boat.
Okay. The lands with a bit of a sickening squelchy sound as it hits the wood of the boat. Maxime totters, looks like it could go overboard any second, but seems to, just kind of, but he turns towards you in the head because he wants to get the head, kind of turns him into the boat rather than over the boat. So luckily he doesn't go overboard inadvertently. You realize in his pocket is just glowing white. It's like white beams of light are coming out from his pocket, where this artifact is stuck inside it. And
that's probably what's making him mad, I reckon.
what do you want to do?
Obviously, yeah, big whales around here.
I'll kind of make a
Um,
grab for it if I can, sort of while he's tottering. I'll kind of steady him, but also try and get whatever it is out his pocket.
Okay, I think that's a conflict. So I think that's
Yeah.
an opposed brawl roll
Oh.
to see whether
dear.
because I don't think Maxime is necessarily going to want it out of his possession either.
I think
You
it's
are about
very
to take on a
unlikely.
boxer. Oh dear.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, and
that was
that's a pass from
pathetic.
me.
Sorry,
Not a
Jayson.
chance.
That was a pass from me.
It's okay. So yeah, Georgina goes to get it. You don't really know she's trying to do that, but she just seemed to be in your face, and you kind of like knock her away, kind of thing. You don't really do any serious damage, but probably a D3, as you're not really in control of yourself.
Oh no.
2.
Okay.
Oh no.
You kind
That's
of
all right.
thrown-
I can take that.
thrown back into the boat, and as you kind of look up towards Maxime, who is still kind of still screaming, but the light seems to dim, and this kind of pressure that you've all been feeling, that's kind of just ever present, and you've kind of almost got used to it it just lifts, and the light goes out, and this pressure lifts, and you realize how much kind of weight you just having on you, and it just seems to suddenly kind of almost like gasping for breath, and you kind of now kind of realize how much this was affecting you, and at that point it kind of relieves the pressure on Maxime as well, and that's the point you kind of stop screaming, but you just sort of slump into the boat, kind of just silent, just kind of thoughts racing through your head as you kind of start to calm down, but still not quite fully yourself. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do before I forget is to say that Maxime, you also gain a phobia from this, and it's going to be a phobia of lakes, limnophobia.
Okay, that will be useful.
It is, considering we've got to flee the country over one.
Yep.
And as the boat continues to move on, Francis, you feel this hand on your shoulder, and you realize it's Uncle Harry's hand on your shoulder. It just seems to, it's not kind of like, it's not there. It's like, is he invisible or something? But you just feel his presence there. You feel this kind of hand on your shoulder, as if it's going to be okay.
Even though I can't see it, I'm just going to sort of pat it where I feel it is, just so that he knows that I know.
Mm-hmm. And Maxime, while you're not aware really of this, one of the reasons you're feeling calmer is, again, you just feel this sort of embrace around you, but you don't really put two and two together till later. But clearly, Robert is here with you, kind of trying to calm you down, and whispering kind of, you're okay. And while you can't really make sense of it at this point, it comes to you later that this is what's been happening. And likewise, with Georgina, you sense Robert, and you just think, maybe it will be okay. Maybe it's okay. Meanwhile, Eleanor is careering around the roads. What's the plan, Eleanor?
Well, I was going to ask if I was feeling that pressure.
As you're driving off, yeah, you were feeling it, but you probably feel it less. You know, you feel it lessen much sooner, and almost because you're kind of concentrating so hard on just kind of keeping on these icy roads and not really knowing where you're going. It kind of almost you don't realize till a few minutes later that that seems to have gone. Or but then you kind of back on keeping an eye on the road, so it's less effective on you in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I would be heading to Anna's house. Now, I don't know the roads around here at all, but I figure if I just follow the lake around, I'll get to the bit that I know.
Yeah, that's as good a plan as any. As I quickly look at a map to just gauge what's going on. Okay, that makes sense to me. I think it's not like a major city. It's not like there's millions of roads to try and navigate around. I mean, there is a little bit of navigation, and really it's more a case of how long it takes you rather than if you get there. So have you got a navigate skill, anything like that that's worth the roll?
I have the 10% I was born with.
Okay, well let's just we'll use this as a basis to sort of how long it takes you to get back. So give it a roll, and the good chance it's going to be it takes you a while, but
so failed by 55. Hopefully that's not in hours.
Fine. The difference is obviously it takes them 4 hours to get across the lake, so things may even out, even if you're even if you go wrong and have to backtrack a few times and whatnot. But I think you probably looking at what it is, I think you probably you arrive at Anna's house probably. As you failed your roll, I'm gonna say an hour after everyone else. I was gonna say before because you're in a car and you're going faster than they are in the sense, but you are going. It's a massive lake, so it's a long way round. So I'm gonna say just before the petrol runs out, you hit Medvedvia Goya, and you might have to make the last 100 yards on foot or whatever. But you arrive.
I didn't actually want to leave. I didn't want to leave the car outside the house. Actually,
I didn't think you did, but yeah, go on.
Maybe at the train station.
Yeah, okay. You kind of get it to the train station and then kind of furtively get away from that back to Anna's house. By which time, as I say, the others have just more or less arrived about an hour before. So on the arrival of the rest of you, you see the dock of the town come into view, and you see Anna sort of steps out of the darkness as you kind of come on the shore. Looks like she's been waiting for you, and looks a bit concerned at Francis, who's not looking the best for wear, and helps to get you out of the boat, and starts to lead you back to her house. There's no Bella there, just Anna. She does.
I'm going to say nothing about how ineffective that charm was she gave us. A bit rude.
We're not actually dead.
You can still,
that's fair, actually.
It still could work. I mean, remember, you can choose to. I can't remember what I said now. You can choose to have a success, can't you?
Oh, you never actually told us what it did.
No,
oh well, I was waiting
for
you
a blessing.
To tell me. Yeah, that's right. Blessing. Yes, I was kind of. To be honest, if you'd have dismally failed,
You'd have told us.
I'd have mentioned it, but you didn't dismally fail. And so I thought you might want to keep it around.
Got shot.
Well, that's but that's not a role that
flesh wound. It's a flesh wound.
You might be thankful of that later on. There may be slightly more dangerous things ahead. You never know. On the way back to the house, Anna is asking questions. She is asking, what happened.
Well,
Maxime
You can answer. Or...
whispers very quickly this conglomerate of words about the lake and big huge thing clambering, taking headless Krylov, and we have the head, but I think he wants the head. I really don't know. I don't want to go back. I really don't want to go back there. It's so cold and deep.
I think
Yeah.
we need to deliver the head to Mr. Botman.
She says, "This is his head in the bag."
Yes.
yeah.
It was Francis.
Okay.
It wasn't me.
She kind of looks
Well-
at Francis. Well, you see, sort of look slightly surprised, but not really on her face. But she sort of takes a beat, and then she sort of turns and looks very most serious she'd looked all this time. She says, "Do you have the notebook?"
The notebook. Oh, I couldn't find
It was
it.
not on his body.
She looks quite worried and says, "You left the rest of him there, then, I take it."
We
Oh.
did,
Well,
but
we
he was
did.
dragged into the water by something.
The big black whale thing. It became a human, became a man, and then changed back. And blood.
She looks pretty worried at this point, but says, "We must get home quickly. We haven't got a lot of time." Then they may, if they have the notebook, they may come here. But she gets you back to the house, and she and Zoya, Bella is in the house, and she and Zoya look at Francis's wound, and again they kind of dress it properly this time and make sure it's kind of clean and confirm that the bullet passed through. There's nothing to kind of get out. They kind of wad it up basically and sort you out. Again, unfortunately, no hit point gain as that moment has passed. But you're feeling a lot better, Francis, and they give you a stick, and you can get about on your own steam. It's not too bad. Obviously, it's a bit painful, but you've had worse. Well, maybe. And by around about then is when Eleanor rocks in. Cash. Hey, where have you been?
Oh, I'm so sorry I couldn't make the boat. There was, I think about a dozen or more soldiers. I tried to delay everyone getting onto the promontory before you were finished.
Thank God you're safe.
Did you?
I'm going to
find
run
the
over and give her a big hug.
Oh, no, I'm all good. I'm all good. I couldn't stop the big guy from arriving any longer. Sorry about that.
Oh, we were
didn't
so
delay him
worried.
long. Anyway, I got the notebook.
Oh,
Oh,
quick, tell Anna.
Anna's like, thank you. She's like, you can rest. You can rest here tonight. In the morning, we can do what must be done in the other place. But
Do we not need to do it soon?
Your friend must rest. Your friend must rest. We can do this in the morning. We can rise early, but there is time to rest.
What's the crystal doing at the moment?
It is back to how it was originally, as in not glowing at all.
Okay.
You might want to rest, but I was rather hoping you'd give me a hand reading these notes.
The notebook itself, what it has is your names and addresses. It basically is a kind of like a carbon copy in terms of the information of the names and addresses written on the top of the newspaper that you were given by the Mr. Time Traveling chap, and it can your names, Anna's name's on there, Gottman's name's on there, and Nadezhda Palliser's name's on there. There isn't a lot else in the notebook. It is like a clean notebook. It's been around a bit, but it just has this list of names and addresses in it.
Burn it.
Okay.
Yes, well, it seems to be a very limited address book filled entirely with people where I already know their addresses. So I don't see much purpose in keeping it.
No, well, let's check with Anna and then consign it to the flames.
She says, yes, burn it. It is the only link from Krylov to us that we are aware of, that if this gets into the wrong hands, it would cause questions.
Then into
Burn
the
it.
stove it must go.
It burns with this greeny yellow light. Anna is convinced that, you need to rest after, nearly 10 hours out tonight. It's dawn approaching now, that, you need to rest.
Not wrong.
You are
She's
quite
definitely not
tired.
wrong.
And Eleanor, you're pretty tired, long drive and all that kind of thing, quite stressful. But you can, if you want, it's your choice. If you want to plow on now, but you are tired, I am reminding you again.
A few hours sleep
No.
would be a good idea, I think.
Because that's
If
the
Maxine
subtle
can
hint
get
that
any
anything we
sleep.
attempt to do will have a dirty great penalty dice on it.
Yep.
Okay, so it's still dark outside. It's not dawn quite yet, and as you drift off, you hear in the distance howls and whimpering kind of sounds coming across the wind that sound uncannily like the noises that the Zelozny you've met before make.
I'm too tired. I need to sleep in.
Okay. Before sleep, you're awoken. Zoya wakes you in the morning. Well, it's kind of mid-morning, to be honest. Mid-morning. You've not had enough sleep. You're not enough that you'd want, but enough that you're functioning okay. And there's a hearty breakfast pretty much ready straight out for you with big mugs of coffee. And Anna is kind of saying, we must eat and then we must go. She said, did you hear the howls?
Yeah.
Did you hear the howling?
Yes.
So the one came, there was one outside last night. I could hear it against the window. There are more of them. Whatever is happening, it is flowing thick and fast now. The connection between the other place and here is strong. They are crossing freely over. It seems there is talk of someone being murdered in the village.
We need to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of coffee.
Okay. So you head out. Okay. So just quick inventory check. I presume you're taking whatever weapons you had last night with you again.
Yes.
If you weapon, rifle and all that sort of thing. Are you taking your papers, your travel papers, passport and whatnot,
Yes.
visas with you?
All the things all the time.
Camera.
Not taking the camera. No.
Okay. And are you remembering to take your seeds and whatnot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to use to create the sigil?
Presumably we can draw that with one of the knives or something. Oh no, we need chalk. Oh.
Oh, bollocks.
I'm sure we'll be able to find something that will charcoal would work.
In the other place?
Well, we can
Or do you
take
want-
some, can't we, out of the fire?
Yeah. It's just the way you were saying we can do it. It seemed to suggest to me you were just saying, oh, we'll find something there. And I'm just saying, well, will you?
No, I meant in the house. No,
Oh, okay.
I'll
Yeah.
have a hunt around the house, see if there's any chalk or anything, and if there's not, we'll just get some bits of charcoal, burnt wood out the fire, so that we've got charcoal that we can
Okay, there's no chalk, but you can certainly take some coal and charcoal with you.
Yep, grab that.
Bella says she's got a pot of paint somewhere. If you want to take
Well,
that.
that would be awesome. Yes.
Paint,
with
yes.
that.
Okay. There's a little pot of paint. Okay, fine. Well, you can gather all those things up and set out if you like. Anna says as you're packing, she's packing 12 knives into rolling them up in a blanket, and says we may need these to create the circle. It's like she knows what she's doing almost.
Yeah, we'll just follow Anna's lead.
Yes.
Being a bit tired to really think straight, other than, yeah.
As you leave and you head out through the town, there is on the outskirts near the water. There is a group of residents all gathered, sort of standing around. Anna as you walk slowly through them, Anna is talking to them. And those of you that hear enough, or Anna will tell you afterwards that a man, Lemkomsky, was killed by a wild animal last night near the lake, and off in the distance you can see some men standing near the lake shore, presumably guarding the body. Everyone looks a bit worried, but Anna says, we let us carry on. This wasn't an animal, obviously, and you carry on. It's a 3-hour walk back to the doorway in the rock slide.
We're going to be dead on our feet.
No, we could save a little time if we walk to Oleg's first and pick up the sleigh.
If you remember, we couldn't take it before because we can't get all the way.
No, it doesn't.
It's been snowing. Obviously, the first hour or so, it's reasonably decent going. But as you get onto that, road and then into the forest, it's been snowing. It's about a foot deep, and it's just more exhausting. However, as you're making your way, you realise that Robert and Mark are with you, kind of walking. They kind of join the group of you walking towards the forest. And Mark says to Eleanor, did you see the thing in the lake?
I didn't. My friends did.
I think that is what made me, not God.
You've been ensnared by Huber, Mark. A demon called Huber.
I'm scared. What does it mean if I'm here because of that thing? What does it mean?
This devilish creature has prevented you from getting to heaven, Mark. And I'm going to deal with it. I'm on my way there now. You'd have been proud of me, I think.
I saw something. There was you were driving. Is that right? You were driving?
I was, yes. And being shot at too.
Really? It looks quite worried about that. But well, you're here now. That's good. But you're going to put an end to this now, are you? This is it. This is going to be it, isn't it?
It is, Mark. Only there's one thing for which I cannot be sure. I'm not sure if at the end of this, what will happen to you and me.
No, I don't know.
I know that
I'm worried.
I know that I have a price to pay in doing what I'm about to do, but I also I'm fairly certain I'll make it back because there's another wretched creature who seems to look forward to my return.
Well, you must be careful. Don't do anything dangerous, will you?
I've grown up, Mark. I'm not the young girl you knew back at the priory.
I know. I guess you're not. Time moves on, eh? Well, very well. And he kind of chats. He then kind of lightens it a little bit, and he kind of chats as you walk through. Robert with Georgina, and he comes and he makes a bit of small talk with you, but he says that it's here now. It came through. We're all here now. Wherever we're all here. We've all come through, and the Zelozny, the other ones, the unfinished ones, that they're all coming through. It's like rats in a drain pipe coming through. They're all drawn to it. They're all part of it. We're all part of it. We're here because it's here, and it's here now. It's just going to get worse. It will. I can feel. I can sense more of people like me. I can sense them. I can sense more. I don't know, being created. That I can hear the minds. They're all here for. They're all part of Huber. There's a lot. I know what they want. They've come for the chaos that's going to ensue. They're gonna revel in the chaos.
We're going to drag them back through and put them back in hell.
He says, you have to do this. You have to do this. It's only going to get worse. It's quiet now, but I can sense them gathering. You must take care. There are many more here now than there were before. There are many more, and they are hungry. And they will feed. And he kind of delivers that kind of bit of info and message, and again walks with you, for a while with Georgina, and eventually they kind of, they kind of say their goodbyes and fade away. But it's strange when they go. Whereas before you felt this sort of sense of loss, felt a sense of them not being there. Now you kind of still feel them around. It's like they are kind of here still, but they're just not in this moment here. You can sense them. It's quite, in a sense, it's strange but reassuring. However, time passes on as you walk through the final leg, through the forest, through the thick snow, and you make a listen roll.
Oh, we don't.
Nope. Us.
No, we don't.
No one made it.
No, I'm far too tired.
Eleanor did.
Eleanor made it. Okay. Eleanor, you hear moaning off to the right. It's like a guttural moaning, not healthy. Not.
I jab Francis in the ribs without thinking about his wound.
Ah!
Velocity in the bushes. Oh, sorry.
Ow!
Lord have mercy. I'm so sorry. I forgot.
Ah.
In the bushes. Can you not hear it?
No.
You look look over in the direction that Eleanor's kind of pointing, and out from behind a tree. This is about 100 yards away. It's kind of over to your left, not the direction you're heading. This kind of figure kind of steps out from behind a tree and just kind of like leans over in a kind of slightly awkward angle, clearly looking over at you. And at that point, you see something move around its feet, and it looks like, first thought it's a dog, and then you kind of realize it's this kind of man or something on all fours, kind of padding around. And they kind of stand watching you for a second as you kind of all freeze, waiting for them to, leap at you or something. And the other one just sort of like falls to the floor on all fours as well. And they dart off, away from you. It's a little bit disconcerting, but they don't seem to, they didn't come to attack. They watched you, certainly, and then they went.
No, we're coming then.
You get through the forest and you see the lake, and you pass the lane, as it were, the track that would lead to Gottman's cottage. Obviously, you're not, that's not the direction you're headed, but you are near to Gottman's cottage at this precise moment, should you wish to do anything.
Have we got the head with us?
Well, yes, I think basically if we've got the head with us, I think we need to make a quick detour and hand.
We should probably drop it off. What's 20 minutes between friends?
I shouldn't be there. Wait, maybe now is a good time to make good, because if he considers it a promise and I turn up now when I have another engagement that he wants me to do, yes, maybe now is the time I should turn up so that I don't
so
have
that
to
you can
turn up
hurry
later.
off.
Well, we don't have to even
Yes.
speak to him. We can just leave it on the doorstep.
I think it might be
really want
good
to go
to
in
do
without
that.
being invited. I think that would be a bad idea.
I'm concerned I have an open invitation.
I think he'll be very happy with what we are bringing him.
I'm sure he is, but we have more pressing things to deal with.
Look, he wanted proof that Krylov was dead. We need to go deliver this. I don't particularly fancy carrying this thing into the underworld.
No, I'm not saying that, no.
The Hessian sack is nicely bloody now, and the blood is started, congealed by this point, but every now and again, leaves a bloody trail.
It should be frozen solid. It should be nice.
Well, I don't know if you left the head outside during the night for anyone to find. No, I presume you left it inside in the warm.
Yeah, but we could
so it's not quite frozen solid yet. No, it's cold, but So okay, so are you going to Gottman's? Are you all going to Gottman's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Safety in numbers and all.
Anna and Bella ain't going to Gottman's. So we'll stay here. Maybe don't mention we're here.
That's fine. We understand.
Okay. Okay. So you head down the lane onto the sort of spit of land on which his cottage stands. You come to the fence and the gate with the cowbells, and what do you want to do?
I am shouting hello. I'm not going in uninvited.
Okay. As a moment or two passes, and you see the kind of the manservant, the old guy, kind of creeps out of the house. You see the woman kind of stick her head out, watching, and he kind of, painfully slowly this time, sort of comes towards the gate and says, you have come back.
I have a gift for your master. I'm afraid I can't stay. I have to be somewhere else to perform the rest of the deed he's charged us with. But we thought he would like this as proof that we've done what we agreed to do. And I hand the sack over the fence to him.
He backs away from it. He doesn't take it. He says, no. The master will want to receive this from you. He would be unforgivable to not deliver it in person. And he, as he opens the gate, says, come.
Well, okay, I tried.
All right, to the door it is.
Okay, so you're led inside. It's the same old. He again stops you inside and insists that rifles and any walking sticks and all the rest of it are put up against the wall where they were last time, which I presume you're all complying with, like last time.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
And then leads you as you're doing this, you hear this familiar voice from the other room going, "Oh, they've come back, and Miss Eleanor, you are returned to me, yes?"
Yes, as agreed.
And he kind of shoos you into the kind of the lounge room where the fire is glowing, and sat exactly as he was before is Gottman's large form in his armchair, looking up with this large smile on his face. It's almost, it kind of almost ear to ear. It's just so much of a big grin he has on his face. And it says, I smell something. I smell a present. Yes? He's got this kind of energized look in his eyes. It's like, yes, bring it to me.
I'm sorry. It's
Very
not,
eager.
I'm sorry we haven't presented it more appealingly, but the proof that we've done what we promised to do.
Oh, and you have wrapped it for me. This is what a present to have on this morning. I wasn't expecting this quite so soon. And he kind of puts the bloody kind of sack on his lap, and he kind of, but he makes a real meal of like, almost peeling the sack open bit by bit, as if it's some wonderful kind of treat present kind of thing. And it kind of reveals the head slowly, kind of, and his eyes just seem to get bigger and bigger as more of the head is revealed. And finally, he kind of, grabs the top of the head and lifts it out and holds it up very good, very good. You've done as I asked. You haven't done well. Yes, you tiny little creatures, you've done very, very well. Yes, he's very excited. And it's a little disconcerting when he kind of he's got the head in one hand and he gets his other hand underneath, where the neck is, and he kind of like just draws his fingers so it's kind of, they're covered in a bit of goo, kind of, blood or whatever that's just dried or, sticky. And he puts them in his mouth and it gives him a good suck and tastes them. A rare vintage.
No, passing out.
Sun rolls.
I hadn't even seen the severed head up until this point. I knew it was there, but
yes.
Right,
no,
can't.
Sanity roll, please.
Somehow I'm all right. Legs, no. Legs, no. Severed heads, yeah. Why not? Cannibalism, yeah. Fine, all good.
You're not going to believe this. I have literally rolled 000.
Oh no!
Nice one, Eleanor.
I pass, but
you are consciously. Metaphorically losing a point of sanity in this case, in terms of doing a bit of a feint, without you don't lose sanity, but I think your reaction is appropriate given the circumstances, and a momentary feint is absolutely appropriate, so that's fine. Francis?
No, I failed that.
Yeah, because you see the reality of what you've done now in the light of day, and it doesn't help that this guy's eating it, partly at least. So in that case, I think it's that for Francis, which is 6 points,
Oh God, not.
and 6 points for Georgina.
Oh dear.
Both lose the maximum, I'm afraid.
Okay,
By
okay.
various
That's
means.
another... Come on,
Perhaps
Dwight.
Well,
now
it's
is
a
not a
good-
good time to lose
Yes, I
your.
failed it again. I failed my int roll. We're all
It's
right.
very, very lucky. Don't forget you have the blessing on you. If you fail a roll, I will count it as a pass. It's a one-off, one-time deal. This is just, but you know, you have to tell me when you want to use it.
Not now.
I mean, you can use it in I mean, if you want to use it to like fail your idea roll, Georgina, you can do, but you may just want to make the roll and see what happens.
Okay, I'm gonna make the roll. 37.
Come on, I can't just be me who has a bout of madness.
I'll reach for the dice at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, that's not great.
Okay.
It's fine once
so-
you're in.
Bang.
You have a temporary insanity, Georgina, which is going to last in total 5 hours, but initially your bout of madness is going to last around about 10-20 seconds. But the good news is +5 Cthulhu Mythos. Let's not forget that.
It's just what I always wanted.
Indeed. And then if I just go, yeah.
You know that whole indefinite insanity thing?
Mm.
Because I have just lost 12 points of Cthulhu.
You've got right. Okay.
How many do I what percentage is it again?
So what did you start? What sanity did you start?
My starting sanity
24
was
hours
55.
ago. Okay, so you're going to need to lose 10. Just double check. So you're going to.
Yeah, I've done that. I've lost 12 today.
Yeah, you need to lose 11 points. So it's 12. So you're indefinitely insane. And Georgina, again, how many have you lost in the last 2 rolls?
In the last 2 rolls,
yeah,
what did you? I lost 4, and then I've just lost 6. So I've lost 10 tonight. Yeah.
And what was your sanity on before
I was on 43. I am now down to 34.
Yeah, so you only needed to lose 8, but that's enough. So you're both indefinitely insane rather than temporarily, which is all good fun. So let's change the immediate thing. Okay, so you both have a bout of madness. Okay, I think, looking at my notes I made earlier, just in case this might happen.
I love the optimism there.
There we go. Okay, so I think Georgina, you faint. Just go, and then but Francis, I think you start screaming top of your lungs. This kind of, the horror finally hits you of everything you've done in the last 24 hours and seen, and Gottman in the end, just caps it all off and pushes you over the edge as you just start screaming at the top of your lungs. Gottman is like, kind of pauses for a second and looks towards Eleanor and Maxime and says, "Oh, that is unfortunate. Perhaps they are tired and need to rest. your friend here, the screaming one. Calm down. He's talking to Francis, saying, "Calm down. You're not. All you're seeing is this thing that you're not quite sure. The more you look at him, the less human he seems to look to you.
Yeah.
Kind of going like that at you, as you just
Maxime
backing away.
tries
Francis trying to get out.
Yeah, Maxime's trying to stand in front of Gottman to try and, obstruct the view type thing that Francis can see.
Okay. Eleanor, what are you doing?
I don't suppose I could have a glass of water, could I, please? And I look away, like I'm putting my gaze wherever the head isn't.
Okay.
We need to get some water for Georgina as well.
He kind of listens to Eleanor, and he kind of seems to stop and pauses and turns towards the back room and shouts, Bring a jug of ice water. Bring that and some vodka." And you hear some commotion, and he just sort of seems to kind of regain his composure a little bit. But you can see his eyes are kind of flitting around a bit, and he keeps looking towards Francis. And the couple rush in with some a jug of water and some glasses, and he says, "Give your friend some water. The one on the floor needs some water."
I take some for myself, and then I'll take some to Georgina.
And there is vodka if you prefer. Have this, but this is too. I need the noise to stop now.
Francis, please stop screaming. I know I did some before, and I know it's hard, but please, can you resist?
I will attempt to sort of like jam my coat in my mouth to stop the screaming.
What Maxime might
The
do
trouble is every time you start to, it's like when you can't stop laughing, you kind of start to calm yourself down, and then you look at someone's face and they look at you and you start laughing again. Unfortunately, it's kind of like the reverse. Is you start to calm down a little bit, and you just catch Gottman's eye and realize he's just staring directly at you, and you start screaming again. And he turns to Eleanor and says, "If you can't make your friend stop the noise, I'll have to stop it myself." As he starts to rise out of his chair.
I'll take him outside, and I start leading Francis out of the cottage.
Okay.
We have much work to do anyway. We still need to do the ritual.
He's kind of rising out of his chair and kind of stands up, and you're kind of taller than he's seen before. He kind of stands there, and you're dragging Francis out, and Maxime is kind of rousing Georgina off the floor, and he kind of stops and sort of directs kind of to anyone in general, really. He sort of says, "Well, yes, there is work for you still to do. Yes, there is work for you still to do." And he starts to sort of sink back into his chair and says, "Yes, and you bought me a present. Well, that should be repaid in kindness. Yes." And you can see he's having some sort of internal debate. And yes, take the noise away, and I can think more clearly as it kind of recedes. And Maxime and Georgina are probably, a little bit longer getting out of there as you kind of rousing Georgina. And you can hear him. He's not really talking to you now. He's sort of saying, "Yes, I have this to take the edge off the hunger, and I don't need to feed. I don't need to feed now. No, it'll be fine. Another time." And he's just suddenly, and he's sort of like, sinking back into his chair. And as you leave, Maxime, because you're probably the more conscious than Georgina is, for a second his skin just seems to sag, and he's just like a sack of flesh on the chair, as if it's almost like he just kind of like relaxed and he doesn't really have a body. It's just more like a sack. And it's just a fraction of a second as you kind of look and go like, and you're telling yourself in your mind, don't look. It's just the way the chair is, as you kind of get out and take a big gulp of air as you get outside and kind of just put that image out of your head as you leave the cottage. Yeah, I think you got presence of mind enough to grab everything that you can as you climb outside, and as you kind of, are all kind of limping, walking away, whatever it is, you see Gottman come out of his house and sort of stands in the entrance and just sort of waves his hand very kind of slowly like this at you, and then goes back inside. Anna appears from nowhere when you kind of get beyond the spit and just goes white as a sheet, as kind of looking at Georgina and Francis, kind of clearly not clearly out of sorts. You're out of your bout of madness by now. You're okay. You're in control, but there are obviously things playing on your mind which seem evident in Anna's eyes, and says, what happened in there?
I think it's better not to ask.
Gottman was being very Gottman.
Regrettably, I feel that any credit we may have earned, we may have lost in the revulsion of his of witnessing his delight.
Okay. She whispers or mutters rather some things under her breath, and she kind of comes across to Georgina and Francis and places her hands on your foreheads, kind of thing, and you just sort of feel this calmness, just a piece of calmness kind of descends on you, and it just seems to help, but it doesn't really change anything. It just takes the edge off, and you just feel reassured, or that and you feel a kind of a warmth, I guess, just for a moment or two. And she says, I do what I can, and but we must hurry now. And she kind of starts to drag you off. Now you two obviously have an underlying insanity. You are fine in terms of in control of yourselves. However, a single point of sanity loss will trigger another bout of madness.
Yay!
And
this is not going to go well.
and I might have to think about it, but I think Georgina might get a phobia of onomatopoeia. Oh no, sorry, not that one. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Teratophobia, which is the fear of monsters, because clearly whatever Gottman is, human or otherwise, he's a monster.
Sounds like a perfectly rational, but how is that a phobia?
I concur. How is that a phobia?
I think Francis, I'm kind of weighing up between something to do with murdering people Or I think I'm kind of thinking, because you've got a semi-religious background, Francis, yeah?
Yes, he's practicing Roman Catholic, yeah.
That's what I thought. So I think maybe what would be better if it's Inosymania, which is a belief that one has sinned greatly. So there's a kind of a guilt and a need for penance running through you. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. You've got your Cthulhu Mythos game, so we're all good. Just don't lose any more sanity points and nothing could go wrong.
Oh, so does that mean I get Cthulhu Mythos as well then? Yes, must do.
Oh yeah. Sorry, thinking you just got that as well. So yeah. 5 points for your first time. This is when you now go insane and start doing spontaneous use of Cthulhu Mythos to just really up the ante.
I've seen where that madness leads.
Okay, so you have now obviously cleared away from Gottman's house, back into the forest. You remember from when Bella took you before and from your return journey last time, you're probably about, I don't know, 10 minutes from the door. Just as you're kind of breaking through the forest trees, but see, that's when these big kind of horrible looking kind of shapes on all fours, and some are walking on 2 legs, all seem to appear from out of the forest and start running towards you. And that's where we'll end it tonight. And so thanks for playing, and thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you same time next week for the perhaps fortunately named episode 13 of The Dead Within.
Oh, no.
And see just what happens when you have 2 indefinitely insane characters and a bunch of monsters about to attack them. Who knows what will happen, but I'm sure it's going to be exciting. So join us then. We'll see you all next time. So goodbye from me. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.